Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Rethinking Freedom, where it is not just a show, it is a movement. And our goal is simply to get us to really rethink what we mean by freedom, and more importantly, to ask ourselves what we are doing on a daily basis to actualize the freedom we say we want. What choices are you making on a daily basis to live freely, to create an environment, to create a society where you and others can live freely? And when we launched this show, if you will, over a year ago, we had an inkling, but no clear idea exactly what situation our country and perhaps the world would be in the sense of how our freedoms are being challenged on a daily basis. And if you're listening to this and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then this show isn't for you. But if you're listening to this and you're saying, yes, I feel it, I see the fear in my neighbor's eyes, I sometimes sense it myself, then you're right where you should be. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? And so we address this notion of freedom in a variety of ways. And if you have never engaged with our show before, this is the time to go to our YouTube channel at Rethinking Freedom, and you can find a variety of topics that we've covered. Everything from, of course, politics to law to health to relationships, to food, to gardening, to finances. We've covered it all. And today is going to be no different as I bring to you a simply incredible guest who I have no doubt is going to be one of our newest fan favorites. Of course, I am Aya Fubara Eneli. I am your host. I am an attorney and the owner of Ma'at Heritage Legal Group, and I'm excited to introduce to you none other than, I call her Dr. Jacqueline Napier. She says, I don't quite have a PhD. Listen, this PhD for me can be awarded by an institution of higher education. It can be awarded by simply your life experiences and what you do. And I guarantee you, by the time you listen to her, you are going to call her Dr. Napier as well. So she is a seasoned, award-winning learning and development professional with over 30 years of experience across various industries. She holds a PhD in communication from Northwestern University and graduate studies in instructional design. She specializes in learning design, technical writing, consulting, and facilitation services. And for those of you who are like, I don't even know what any of that means, that's why you should pull up a seat and pay close attention. I know many of you listen to the show as you're driving to work. Yes. So listen as you're driving and then later come back to the YouTube channel, listen again and take notes, right? Now embracing her semi-retired status, and I would put great emphasis on semi because this woman ain't never going to completely retire because she just has so much to offer and she lives life at such an incredibly high vibrancy. I mean, her frequency is just amazing, which is why we are calling this show really Blueprint for a Vibrant Life, because when I met her, and I'll tell you how I met her in a minute here, all I could feel was her just elevating me. But now embracing her semi-retired status, she enjoys the freedom to focus on her voiceover talents, travel, spend time with family and friends, and savor cultural activities while continuing to consult on leading edge artificial intelligence, AI. Yes, yes, yes. There are some of us way younger who are afraid of artificial intelligence, and I won't tell her age, and black don't crack, but she wasn't born today. She's talking about AI. She's teaching AI. It's crazy. Avatar and self-paced micro learning using innovative learning industry perspectives and tools. This is what she's doing now. This is the kind of consulting work she's doing. Jacqueline is actively involved in professional associations. She's involved, including Chicago e-learning and technology showcase and storyline user group mentorship. She serves on the Center for System Security and Information Assurance, the National Science Foundation as a mentor for women in technology, DePaul University's Instructional Design Master of Arts program. I mean, are you impressed yet? Applied Professional Studies as a professional advisor. She does voice artistry. Her current passions involve remodeling her new home, because why not? And honing her pickleball skills.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
She currently resides in Chicagoland area near her mother, Lily, and she will tell you how old her mother is if she chooses. And also alongside her living children, Jerry Rasson, and if I said that name right, and Sean. And I have to tell you that I met her on a trip we took to Kemet. Some of you know it as
Mhm.
Egypt. We spent 2 transformative, glorious weeks in
Yes.
Kemet. Like I said, her frequency, where she lives, how she operates is just at a whole other level. And I just had to get to know this woman, and it was absolutely incredible. And welcome to Rethinking Freedom. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Wow. I depressed myself. No, I appreciate you.
And we
I,
didn't and we didn't even well, as we talk, they will hear
Mhm.
more, because we didn't even get to not even 1/100th of your life and what you've done, but hopefully we'll delve into a little bit more of it.
I'm happy.
So tell
It's
us
so
a
great.
little bit about
Well,
how you
first,
got. Yeah.
I want to say that I what qualifies me to be here to talk about a vibrant life. It's because I am a vibrant person. I am a happy septuagenarian. See, told it. There you go. And I'm very just leaning into this phase of my life. Every phase has its own uniqueness, and this phase of life is wonderful for me. So glad to be here. And that means I'm semi retired. I'm doing air quotes here, semi retired, because I have, well, my friends say I'm the busiest retired person they know. So there you go. And that's part of being vibrant, not being stagnant and constantly learning. So that's the part that welcomes me here. So, should I go on a little bit about my background? Okay, well, I did grow up in
Yes, please tell us, how did you get started? Where were you born? What is the foundation of this amazing woman? Because we all start somewhere.
Well, I was born in the Chicagoland area, and I live and I grew up here. And what's nice is that my maternal grandparents lived in Chicago proper on the west side, and so I was spent quite a lot of time there. And my paternal grandparents lived in Alabama. And like most people who have parents uh, who who what's the word, transplanted themselves up to the migrated to the north, they spent the summers down south, which is what I did. So that means I spent a lot of time, all of my summers there in Alabama. Even as I became an adult, my grandmother was still living, and she lived to be 104, vibrant until the day she left the planet. I enjoyed going there. So, as a child, my parents, Lily and Alfred, they afforded me an excellent education in an integrated environment. And that made me feel comfortable in integrated environments. Although for my classes, that made me one of a few, never more than five people of color in a class. But fortunately for
Mhm.
me, I attended my first 2 years of college at an HBCU, Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, which
Ah,
was great. That's where I got my full Black experience, and it was necessary because I was in that other environment, and I wanted to get in touch with my Blackness, and that was wonderful. Of course, like many people back when Nixon was president, my scholarship, my funding was cut. So I had to come home, and I had to work and go to school to keep going. And one of the things that inspired me was that my father, bless his heart, they say bless your heart, got me a job in a Venetian blind factory. And I was working the midnight shift, standing up all the shift and stuff, and the requirement for the job was that you be able to read a ruler. You had to be able to read the print on the ruler. And I worked a punch press. And boy, oh boy, I tell you, my father was like, if you don't finish school, this is going to be your life. And I was like, oh, goodness. So I would work the midnight shift, get off and go. Back in the day, you had to go deliver your resume, walk around, and I would go walk around looking for a job. So the first well, the light turned red one day, and I'd been walking from place to place downtown Chicago, and I went into the building there. It was the Northern Trust Bank, and when the woman left the room, she had me filling out the application. My feet hurt so bad from standing up all night and walking all around that I'd taken my shoes off and was rubbing my feet. And when the lady came back in, she saw me and she said, "Whew, my goodness, you must really want the job." I was like, "I really wanted the job." And so that's how I got there working at the advertising and public relations department. And I went to school at night and got and worked during the day and wrote my checks and gave all my money to the university. And that's how that worked out. So it was good because when I did graduate, I not only had my degree, but I had my EXP. That's what I say. So I did work at newspapers and community places, and wrote for local businesses and stuff just to get the experience. And I, back in the day, I set type for newspapers, the leaded letters and stuff. And so I'm telling the story now, but once someone said to me, "Oh, I learned about that in history class." So I was like, "Oh man, maybe I shouldn't tell that." But I'm talking about being vibrant in your old age.
that
So yeah, that
that
was
is that
good.
is that is such a funny story. One time I was out with my children, and we saw a payphone, and they stopped and they were like, I've seen that in a book, because they had never seen a payphone in real life, where you got to put a quarter in. Of course, I think now you have to use a credit card. But it's so important what you just said. I don't want our listeners to, or our viewers to, skip over this. The importance of having parents that guide you, grandparents that nurture you. And you talked
Mm-hmm.
about your father saying, hey, there are choices and there are consequences to the choices you make in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so education has a role to play in what opportunities you have. Now, I'm not saying college is for everybody, but you just need to understand that you gotta figure out where you want to go in life, and you need to be working towards it. And you stood in that Venetian, blind
Making
factory and
yeah,
said, I don't think I want to be doing this. Yeah.
yeah, that was it. I
And,
thought
and
that
and
was
and
really
so you
smart
made
of
a
him.
different choice. And then also, yeah. And then even your tenacity, because I hear people saying, oh, I can't find a job. I put in my resume in two places or whatever. They didn't call me
Hmm.
back. And it's like, you have to fight for what it is that you want. And you've got to show you want it badly. If it's really what you want. In fact, I was just reading a biography of Shirley Chisholm, and she was saying after she got her degree, she was applying and applying, and nobody wanted to hire her. And finally, she went into this one place, and they were saying, well, we need you to have experience. And she was like, well, how am I supposed to get the experience if no one will hire me? I've got the degree. And finally, she says, well, give me a chance, like at least hire me on probation. And they did. And when
Mhm.
they hired her, they realized how, what a great asset she was. And then, of course, they gave her, they kept her on permanently. So we've got to have some tenacity about us. So you get this degree, you've got
Mhm.
this experience under your belt, you're in communications, and what else is going on in your life at this time?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, working at night there, I was noticing that my friends who had gotten jobs, they were making money and stuff, and they were going out doing what young people do. They were partying and traveling and all that kind of stuff. And I was getting a little depressed, I was feeling a little bit bad. And my father said to me, he said, they may be partying now, but later on, you're going to party all the way to the bank. And so I made a choice to delay that gratification and to finish school. But I also made a decision to get married right after graduation. Okay, so it was a choice. I made that choice because I was in love at the time. I was in love, got married right after
And you
graduation.
can't tell us nothing when we're in love.
I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. Well, although that marriage didn't last, it lasted 7 years. It did bring me the gift of children. So the that divorce eventually set me free to experience a loving relationship that lasted until my mate passed. Excuse me, 5 years ago. So that was beautiful. So we have to have what we go through so that we can appreciate when we get something that's really good. And I know something like that really good will come again. Now, being a divorced woman and a woman and having children, that really just impacted my career choices because I was a woman with kids, and at that time coming through, my gosh, they would say, "Oh, you're a woman and you're childbearing age. We're going to hold you back because you'll probably leave." It's like, no, we're not going to pay you a lot because men have the families that are taking care of their families. Not true. I would tell them that Mr. Shell charged me the same amount for gas as he charges a man, but they weren't trying to hear that a lot. So I went ahead and worked as best I could, and my career at that time spanned working with a lot of the leading global employers. I was fortunate to work with Big Six and other types of companies before leaving corporate America and forming my company, Napier Communications, that I did in 1996. And I didn't look back. I can tell the through all of this, I'm navigating and feeling good about myself because I came up in an environment where, um, I, although there were people of different races and different backgrounds, I thrived and excelled. So I didn't feel less than or anything like that. I just knew that I was good at what I could do. My job was always to negotiate well for myself coming into an environment. And while all of this is happening, I had a lot of mentors to um, help me along the way. One that I'd like to talk about in particular is W. Clement Stone. I was very fortunate. But let me say a little bit.
Wait a second. The W. Clement Stone?
Yes, the one who was friends with Napoleon Hill and did a lot of work on positive mental attitude. He would stress that for his management
Yes.
team. It was a
Oh,
great experience for me. So what I learned from him, other than the fact that I could do it, and I shouldn't let anything block me from opportunities, was that maintaining a positive mental attitude in all of your endeavors is a great asset to have. And he taught not only that, but he also talked about budgeting and saving money and overcoming inertia. Stone had many sayings, but one that I liked a lot, I liked several, was do the best you can with what you've got right now. So if we're looking back and we're talking to people and saying, how can you thrive where you are in it at the phase of life that you're in? Look around, see what you've got and MacGyver that stuff. Do the best you can with what you got. For those of you who don't know who MacGyver is, that was an old television show, and he was a person who could make things happen with bubble gum, pocket lint, and a piece of tinfoil. He would come up with a rocket ship or something. He made things happen with what he had, and that's
He
something that,
sure could. He sure could, and he looked good doing it.
yes, he did. And and that's something that helps you keep you vibrant. Your mind is working. So that was
Yeah.
I wanted to bring him in at this at this time. So now that we're talking about that, I'd like to switch a little bit and talk about um, enjoying your life phase and the and purpose.
Hold on, Miss Jacqueline, because there's so
Mhm.
much that you're dropping, and I don't want to skip over some of the nuggets because you're making some of this sound really easy. So
Oh.
one of the things we hear a lot is I'm a single mom, divorced,
Hmm.
or maybe never
Hmm.
married, but I'm a young woman with children, and just feeling I will never find love again, or I can't advance in my career, or I can't be a good parent and do career. Like maybe it's career and the children are kind of but people just having a hard time finding a way to still be vibrant in their lives, still feel like they can pursue their goals, be a great parent, pursue their professional goals. You're talking about, wait a second, and then I found the love of my life and it was wonderful, and I opened my own business, and it was just you just glossed over it. You're like,
Yeah.
how did you put it? The phrase you used was, you didn't say, oh, and then I was divorced. You said, and I was set free to. Can you just, to the extent that you're comfortable, can you help a young woman listening to this who's feeling, oh, I'm divorced, I'm a failure,
Oh.
my life is over, I'm in so much pain, maybe people are judging me, I've got these 2 kids or 3 kids or whatever kids, this is
Hmm.
not what I thought my life would be like. Can you help her just navigate this part of her life
Oh
before
my.
we get to all the other stuff? Just help her over this hump.
Well, at that point in my life, I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. It is not easy. I mean, I don't care how much money you would offer me, I would not go back to my
Mm.
20s again. I mean, they'll
Tell
say,
it,
"Who here's $1 million?"
tell it,
No, no, thank you.
tell it, tell it.
It's hard. It was
Yeah.
hard. I was singing my affirmations and incantations to myself constantly to make it through. My family was asleep, but I was getting up early before them to do the little housework that I had to do, to get my little homework done, whatever it was I was studying out of the way, to get them ready for the day. All of this before they even got up in the morning. I
Mm,
was tired. And
mm,
it was not easy. It was not easy, but I knew that I was passing through. That was
mm.
not that was not the end of the journey. That was not the end of the story. But boy, oh boy, I cried. I cried. Yes, when my first marriage ended, I thought I was a failure because I had failed marriage, and I was you know, depressed, but I couldn't stay depressed because my kids were watching me and I had things to do. And I
Mm,
knew that I wanted to do more with my life, and I wanted to go to Atlanta and work with Ted Turner because he was just starting up his network, and I was like, woohoo! I'm going to go down there and work with him. But I couldn't make those moves with no support down there and three kids and stuff. I had to do the best I could with what I had and work in the environment where I was. I couldn't pursue that avenue, but it didn't stop me from moving in that communications direction. Maybe maybe I couldn't do it one way, but there was another avenue to keep me on that path. And it was hard and I was struggling and I was tired, but that's the phase of life for a young mother. Just
mm,
know that it's not permanent. That,
mm,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard for you, and you won't be the only tired one, and you won't be the last tired one.
mm.
Everybody who goes through that phase is going to be tired and doubt themselves and feeling alone. But you never know who's watching. You keep yourself together, carve a little bit of time. You won't have much, but while you up early, while your family's still sleeping, take a little time for yourself. Get your meditation in. You don't get a lot of self-care. You probably don't have a lot of money at that time because kids take everything. They require a lot. They require a lot. And so there's usually very little left over for you, but you take a little bit, some for you, so you can keep yourself able, put your mask on first type deal, and know that it's a life phase and you're passing through it, moving on to the next life phase. I hope that inspires someone to know that it's just a phase. They're going to get
So,
through it.
so you kept yourself together. You were looking good. You didn't decide to be broke down and busted down and all of that. You were still
Hmm.
looking. You felt like you still had something to offer the world.
Yeah, I did. Now, I mean, you met my daughter, Sean. She's bigger
Yes.
than me now. She was bigger than me then, and she was hard on
Hmm.
shoes. So there was never. Every time I wanted to get a pair of shoes, some kid needed a new pair of shoes, so I couldn't get the new pair of shoes. And I just started thanking the Lord that my shoes didn't wear out. One of the ladies on my job she says, you wear those same taupe shoes every day. And I was stopped and I was like, thank you, Lord, for letting these shoes last. Thank you, Lord, for not letting these shoes wear out, because every time I wanted a new pair, the kids needed a new pair. Now
Hmm.
today I have several pairs of shoes. And when somebody asks me about those shoes, well, I can get these shoes now because I earned them. I can have them. I don't have to buy shoes for a bunch of little feet anymore that are still growing. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I want some shoes now, I just get them because I can. Because when my children needed shoes, I chose to put shoes on my children's feet and forego my shoes too. I mean, I polished them up.
Hmm.
They look good. Back then you had to wear
Some,
pumps and
some
dresses
folk
and
don't.
stuff.
Some folk don't know about polishing shoes, Miss Jacqueline. That
Oh,
those days are gone. We had to polish, buff them up, all the kind of stuff. You had
yeah.
the liquid polish, but my parents actually taught us how to the one where you put it on first, the paste, and then you rub it in, and then you buff it,
Buff it
and
up. That's right. And they
it's
shine like
shiny
new.
real good. Yes, but that's on real leather, not on this
Oh, pleather.
synthetic stuff that we have now. So how did you meet the love of your life then? Were you
Oh
in a
my gosh.
library somewhere? Were you at the grocery store? What happened?
We were both students at Northwestern. He was a year ahead of me, but we weren't together at that time. We knew one another and kind of ran in the same circles because even then there weren't a large number of people of color. But I got married and he got married. I got divorced. He got divorced. Later on down the line, we met each other again when we were both available because I was on Match.com. He was on Match.com. And Match.com matched us. I'm not giving them a plug or anything, but that's what happened, and said they thought we would be a good match. And he called. And that started us getting back together at,
Wait a
the
second. Match.com was available that long ago?
yes, ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am.
Why did I think online dating was a more recent phenomenon?
Well, I guess it is recent. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, that's how we got back together. I
You
guess
know,
how
I'm,
we got
I'm
together.
thinking, I'm thinking 10, 15 years.
Oh no, it's been around for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh,
It's been around
wow.
for a while.
Okay.
So it was good. I mean, he called. We already, and
I
it was
learned
great.
something new every day.
Yeah, so that was good for us. The I don't know how it works today. I haven't. And ladies, I'm single again now. I'm widow, so but I haven't tried that avenues. But it worked back in the day. I don't know what it is now, but it's. I hear people say that women, especially women of color, are sometimes afraid to participate on dating apps. But in today's environment, if you want to meet someone, it is a valid uh, avenue. Now,
Hmm.
I'm going to use the term kiss the frog, but you don't have to actually kiss them, but at least puts you out there. You put your best foot forward. And I'm on a dating app right now. I have a
Hmm.
screening method. If I like them and they like me and we decide to communicate, we do texting first to see, okay, yeah, we got some stuff together, and all of my activities take place through the app. They get no personal stuff about me. And then then we do voice communication through the app, like a phone call, or send
Hmm.
voice messages to one another. And if that works out, because I one of the things I have, I would like a man to be well spoken and intelligent. You kind of find that out by asking them a few questions and stuff. And then if that works out, then
I
I
hear
do.
you, Miss Jacqueline. I can't do dumb.
Mm-mm,
I can't
mm-mm,
do dumb.
mm. So, well, if that part works out, then I do a video chat. The voice they because the apps have the feature where you can actually see each other through the app, and that way you can see that he is who he says he is, and he can see that you are who you say you are, and you can kind of see. And then if all those things work out, then I ask them for their full name, and of course I'm going to check them out on the internet. So hey, and then if all of that works out, I know it seems like a long process. Sometimes it can be a little more condensed. Then I can meet them, at a coffee shop or at a place where everybody knows me and there are lots of folks around, and then I put that location thing on my app so that my family knows exactly where I am when I'm going. So we could finally meet in person, but I go through a whole lot of vetting before I actually meet the person in person. So you know, it's fun to date. And yes, you can date more than one person at a time because everybody's grown. And dating is the process of getting to know someone. It does first, many of the guys always say, well, you've met me, so don't date anybody else, get off the app. But dating is the process of getting to know other people, and probably several if you're lucky and wise, so that you can see what you like and see if they like you. You don't have to get to the first guy and say, oh, okay, that's it, I'm off the. No, date, get to know them, see if you like them, and figure out if they like you, and have your list of things that you require and see if they meet those requirements. You might even keep a little tally sheet of the things that you like about the guy, if he's intelligent, if he's kind, whatever your qualifications are. And he either meets them or he doesn't. If he doesn't, on to the next one, and enjoy your dinner or show or cup of coffee or whatever it is you two choose to do with one another.
Well, you have again shared so many nuggets, even for young people. I have, younger children, well, young adults who are off in college, and I just tell them it's not about me being nosy, but just to be safe. Let people
Mm-hmm.
know where you are, share your location, all of those things that could,
Mm-hmm.
really help to protect you. Hopefully, you're not in any danger, but we just want to err on the side of caution at all times. And yes, immediately giving out your personal information to people you don't know. And
Mm-mm.
for folk listening, again, dating doesn't mean that you immediately become intimate with people. It's a getting
No.
to know you. It's like we have forgotten the art of courtship. It's a
Mm-hmm.
getting to know you. It is not, oh, we immediately got hot and heavy and so on and so forth. That comes later when you've made a decision to go that route. So y'all,
That's true.
listen up to the wisdom here. So you
That
were
is
about
true.
to share something with us before I took you back to helping us navigate being single mothers and the fear of we are used goods and washed
Oh,
up and life is over. What
well,
what
I,
were you?
I do I do want to say one more thing on that though.
Mhm.
Be, being a single mother, and at one point I taught fifth grade, so I got to see this really a lot about the kids who had a lot of uncles coming through.
Mm,
It doesn't work well for that. If you have children, be very careful about who you bring around your children. Don't bring everybody around your children. That type of thing. Make them jump through all kind of hoops, and you feeling really good about them before you let them meet your children. So that's and you want to be safe because they're dating you and your children too if you're young. I will admit that when my children were really young, I didn't want to bring another man around my daughters. It's just like I just don't. And they're great people because I decided to date them, but it's like I'm just gonna say it like we said it. Don't start no won't be no it. I didn't intend to be even bothered bothered with that. Let's keep everybody safe. You do what you do outside the house. Don't bring all those men around your children.
okay,
Respect your children.
I'm gonna have to use that one. Don't start no sh. There will be no it. I don't know where
That's
I've
right.
been. I didn't know that one. I'm gonna have to use that one.
That's an old one there. So
Look,
now I'm gonna move on
that,
to to the importance then of
I like that one.
we were talking about enjoying your life phase where you are and your purpose in aging. Hey, I made it. I'm mature. I'm glad about that. So my blueprint, first of all, my blueprint is meaningful to my life and to me personally. Each person will have their own blueprint. So I'm going to share mine because hey, it got me here, and I'm happy about it. So the things that I thought were most important is that you need to take care of your body, you need to take care of your mind, and you need to take pleasure, and I mean truly delight in being yourself. I had to try to whittle it down, and I think that's just important because when you do I found that when I do those things, it makes it possible for me to pursue my purpose in this phase of life. And I want you to know that uh, for me, purpose is that force or that thing that makes me want to move forward in the world, that makes me want to get up out of the bed and just make things happen, whether it's a personal purpose or whether it's a purpose that drives me to help in the community. That's the thing that that makes life worth living. So, if I expand on each of those points and talk about the taking care of your body part, I want to quote Karen Calabresi. Karen Calabresi is a raw foodist. She's also a restaurateur and she is a health expert. She also offers cleanses, and I've had the good fortune to go twice through some of her extended cleanses. And Karen says, if you don't take care of your body, where you gonna live?
Where
Because
you
we're
go?
walking around here. Yeah, yeah, this is your we're here. in our earth suits. That's what allows our spirit selves to be functioning and moving around here on the planet. And you need to take care of your earth suit so you can stay on the planet earth. I like being on the planet, so I'm trying to take care of my earth suit, my body. So one of the things that I thought was really is that you focus on regular physical activity. Now I may not do it as much as I want to, but boy, I do it a lot. Like yesterday I didn't break a sweat, but I was cleaning in my house, running up and down the stairs, bending over, lifting up
That
stuff,
counts.
squatting, moving stuff around and everything. And that counts, so, but move your body as much as you can, and be a conscientious eater. That's what I call it. At one time in my life, for quite a long period, I was a strict lacto-ovo vegetarian. My family used to tease me and say, "Boy, she only eats things if they died of natural causes." but but that I think that discipline helped me a lot. Now I'm closer to a pescatarian, the
Hmm.
people that eat fish, and I just am very conscious of what I put into my body. And I think for especially women, as we age and our metabolism changes, we get bigger. Girl, don't get over here and go through menopause and don't try to take care of yourself, because you will get big. You'll have to go to Omar the tent maker to get your clothes. But you want to just be healthy. And one of the things that's most, you don't have to be a vegetarian or vegan or whatever, but maintain a healthy, nutritious diet with the items that work best for you.
Hmm.
I learned from Calabresi when I went through her fast the first time, her cleanse the first time, and we fast for quite some time. It's almost a month. And like that last week, we were on just water for like 7 days. So it's an adventure, and you get to know, and you're cleansing out your body the whole
You
time
said you said water for 7 days.
for 7 days. And she starts out with, if you're eating meat or whatever, you start removing meat, and then you next thing you remove dairy, and then you remove sugar, and you just keep removing things till you're down to water, and you're drinking
Okay,
her.
hold on. Were you in a controlled environment or were you still living your daily life?
And I was still living my daily life, but we had
And
cohorts that went
you
through.
didn't start slapping people?
No, after like the third day,
You
you
didn't
really
you didn't you
feel
didn't
you
you
feel
didn't get
good.
you didn't get hangry. You didn't
Hangry?
get hangry and start just
No,
cussing people out.
no, sure didn't. You'd be surprised at how clear your mind becomes and how light you feel when you go through that experience, that detox experience. Now, of course, we're getting talks, and we're enemas, we're cleaning our. You'd be surprised how much feces you have in your body. You haven't eaten any food, and still a whole lot's coming out. You're like, my goodness, how much did I have in there? So it
Where's that
really
coming
does make
from?
a difference, right? Well, what it does, it gives you, and I'm not everyone has to do what's best for their body. They really do. That was an intense
Mhm.
thing that I went through, and I'm very happy that I did. And I am friends with the cohorts that I went through it to this day. Some of us
Yes,
call ourselves
yeah.
bowel buddies, because we were just letting it all out. But when you fast or you detox or you cleanse, you give your body a chance to reset itself, to clear
Mm,
itself out, to get itself
mm,
back to where it needs to be. And I think just even periodic fasting, once, just half a day or one day a week or something, gives your body a chance to work through what it has there. So maybe that helped me. I don't know. Maybe it helps my mind be clear. Maybe it helps me be vibrant. But each person has to do their own thing. So that's what I think about the taking care
mhm.
of your body, the exercise parts, and the eating well part, and giving your body a chance to regulate itself by taking stuff out. The next part was taking care
Yeah.
of your mind. So taking care of your mind, includes staying socially connected. Now that's a big part. Um, the World Health Organization this year says that loneliness causes about 100 deaths per hour worldwide. Now, that's a lot of people. That's a
I'm
lot
glad
of 100 deaths.
I'm glad you raised that, because I was going to say what I see is increasingly us becoming more and more isolated. And I think COVID really exacerbated that, because once we figured out we can Instacart and DoorDash and Uber this, and you can even have your medical appointments via video and all of that. I know of some people who are not stepping out of their homes, their
Mm-hmm.
apartments. They're not even getting the sun on their skin. And that loneliness, that isolation causes problems. So yes, please expound on what you're doing. Yes.
Those are the, well, I have a lot of things. Of course, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. I'm getting outside while the sun is there, and trying to do my pickleball. And I have other things that require me to go out and do things. I don't have a dog or a pet that requires me to go outside, but I do make an effort to go out, just be out, even if it's just to walk to the store, even if I don't get anything, walk to the store and walk back, just to be out, moving my body. And I'm fortunate where I'm living now, as I'm preparing my new place, we've got some beautiful parks with natural uh, guard, gardens or set aside space for nature walks. And it just feels wonderful to go and be in those places, to give my mind a chance to work as I'm grounding myself with the earth. Because my family and others that I know have histories of things like stroke and heart disease, you know, uh, anxiety and depression, and all of those things can come from loneliness and not getting the sun. Vitamin D, boy, ooh, this melanin skin. I gotta get my vitamin D and stuff in, and everyone else does too, because there's an epidemic of people having vitamin D deficiencies, which causes all kinds of other issues. So yeah, we want to keep ourselves socially connected, and you can be connected to whatever your interests are. Somebody else is interested in that too. Just and not just connected online. If you connect with them in person too, that's even better. I think that's even better. So next thing I'll talk about is managing stress, because being lonely can be stressful too. So while you're engaging in your stimulating activities, that could be a physical thing, but it can also be things like learning something new, because you want to build new neural pathways in your brain. Because if you do the same stuff, you'll be in a rut, because the knowledge will just go down that same path all the time. Build something new, expand your brain, learn some new stuff, keep your brain happy, which is a wonderful thing. And you do that by doing some new stuff, walking backwards, or just learning a thing that you don't instead of that you don't normally do, and avoid getting stuck in those ruts like the YouTube channels or the feed or whatever, those Instagram and the feeds that feeds you the same stuff. Listen to what the other guys, the other side is saying. People completely opposite from you. Just
So
listen to
so
hear that point of view.
so you would disagree with that notion of you can't teach old dogs new tricks. You would say keep
I
learning new tricks, or at least
keep
attempting to learn new tricks.
keep learning, because you will learn it. I tell my kids all the time
Mm.
that every expert was once a beginner. I mean, whatever you're doing, yeah, you're going to be a challenge with it at first. Like the little baby who's walking, he's taking those first little steps, he's fumbling, he's holding on, he's falling down, and everybody's like, "Hey, woo, you made it!" And eventually, he gets it
Mhm.
because he keeps trying. You keep trying to whatever it is that you desire to learn. Keep trying. You'll get good at it. You want to learn to knit, learn to knit. Go to a knitting class, learn session on YouTube, whatever it is, do that new thing because it builds the pathways in your brain to keep you sharp into your old age. And I know because both my grandmothers were sharp into with their centurion selves. So yes, it does work. I saw it work in real life. And and also coping. You have to learn coping skills that work for you because life is going to lie. It's going to get, as Taraji P. Henson said, life is life and life's going to life on you. So find the thing that works. For me, if I'm stressed, I know that meditation will help me if I'm stressed, and that may work for you. If I'm angry, I know that exercise is something that works for me. It makes those endorphins happen. It helps me work out all that stuff that's floating around in my system. If I am overwhelmed, I just have to remember to say no,
Mm,
to set my
mm.
boundaries and stick to those boundaries. And that helps when I feel overwhelmed. And if for whatever reason I'm unable to change the situation, it's like, oh man, I got to go through this. Then I have to change the way I think about it. I have to reframe the issue so that I can get through that situation stress free or with as less stress as possible. So, you have to think about something that works for you to manage stress. What works for you, Miss Aya?
Well, I'll tell you, in this season of my life, I have learned that saying no and it
Mhm.
is very important, and that no is a full sentence. That I don't have to say no because and try to justify it. I don't have to give you a reason. No. And
Mhm.
if you love me, you can accept it, and if you don't, that's on you. And so yes, I think women, a lot of times we're taught to just prove ourselves through service and service and service, and you give until you're empty and beyond empty. And so what is working for me now is saying no. The other thing that is working for me is really looking at this is what I say to people. I tell them I'm not Jesus and I'm not 911. So I no longer feel a whole lot of guilt besides my anybody's beck and call, and maybe my parents to some extent because they're elderly. But if you call
Yeah.
me and I didn't respond to
Mhm.
the call, I'm not 911. So I wasn't going to save you from the heart attack or whatever. Call 911. And if it was something else you needed to have called your God, like I'm not God in your life either. So I've taken the ego out of it. Like I wasn't going to be the be all and end all for anything. You couldn't reach me. I'm so sorry that you couldn't. I
Mhm.
hope you got what you needed, and I'm not going to feel any guilt about it. That's where I am at this phase of my life.
Oh, let's see. Thanks. You're adding in on that, and I hope that the listeners are thinking about that too. Now, I don't want to leave this part. The other thing that I said was really wonderful was delight in being yourself, just
I'm
being
so
who you
glad you
are.
came back to that word, because when you said delight, the cells in my body did this. Because we don't often use that word delight.
Mhm.
And to delight in yourself. I mean,
Well, what I want people to know is that happiness is a choice. I choose to be happy.
mm,
I choose to be vibrant. Sometimes I have to choose to be happy day by day, depending on the season I'm in. Sometimes I have to choose to be happy minute by minute. And now I'm going to do my best to paraphrase from the book of James,
mm,
chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, and in which he says, um, consider it all joy when you encounter various trials, because you
yeah,
know that those things are going to test your faith. I'm paraphrasing, I think they're going to test
yeah.
your faith and produce steadfastness.
Yes.
And what that means to me is that this
Count it all
passage is
joy.
encouraging me. That's right. It's just like you're going to encounter, you are going to encounter difficult situations. But by encountering these difficult situations, you're building patience and you're your spiritual maturity. For me, it says that it helps me to build my muscle to look for the good in every situation because there is good in every situation. So now I'm just going to ask you to envision the yin and yang symbol and know that in every bad, there's a little bit of good. And in every good, there's a little bit of bad. So if you happen to be in that bad season, look for that little bit of good. And if you're in the good season, recognize that the bad is there. You don't have to focus on it, but just know that it's there, you know, and that's by design. That's nature's design because you have to have one so you can appreciate the other. That's how I see it, how that goes. And while you're going through all of that, remember to love on yourself. I'm just going to say it like love on yourself because you delight in yourself. Let's say you like flowers and you just wishing, ooh, I wish you would bring me some flowers. Oh, somebody ought to give me some flowers. Don't wait on somebody else to bring you flowers. Get the flowers for yourself. Give them to yourself. And I saw this with my youngest sister. She had invited us over for the holidays, and she had just said, I really love flowers. And when we came, she had gotten the flowers for herself, and she had the flowers in her house, and the rest of us were there, and the flowers were so beautiful. And I thought, these are so beautiful. And she got them for herself. How lovely. So I will be doing that as well. Well, I do that as well, but I'll especially be doing it my new place. So I want to tell the story about depending on other people for loving on you. So a while ago,
we have maybe about 3 minutes, and so I really want you to get this story. And I know I'm like, where did the time go? Because I'm just mesmerized listening to you. But please tell this story. Please tell the story.
I was going to tell the story about a guy I dated, and we went out to dinner, and the guy says, "Oh, we went to a restaurant that I liked," and he says, "Oh, I noticed you ate all your food. You might be putting on a little bit of weight there." And I was so shocked. I'm like, "Oh my God, we're on a date, and you telling me this?" And he looked like the Michelin Man. Okay, he wasn't Adonis sitting over there. And I have to thank him because he gave me my line. Whoever gets me gets all of this. And you got to shimmy when you say it because whoever gets you gets all of this because I delight in myself there. Let's see. I want to jump ahead and talk a bit quickly about technology. Yes, I speak geek. I started out back in the day working with Assembler as a systems analyst, and I realized that you can have this great system, but if people don't understand it, it doesn't mean anything. So I switched over to look at things from the user perspective and being the bridge between technology and the average person. That was my first job out of school. My last job before I went into my semi-retirement space was with Zebra Technology. And that's where I had the chance to stretch myself and work on the bleeding edge of innovation, working with artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality. And for people who don't know, virtual reality is like a computer game, but we in an industry setting. And augmented reality is like when you try to buy some furniture or something and they say, see how it looks in your home. Yeah. So you're overlaying digital content on the real world. So I got to build those types of assets. And so I just want to
septuagenarian. Oh my God.
Yes, that's right. I'm still doing it.
To work my cell phone. I need to learn to speak geek.
That's right. There you go. And some of the tips, what I would tell my 25-year-old self is, and I'm not a financial advisor, I would tell myself that I'll be like, hey, so pay yourself first. Pay like you would tithe into the church, tithe to yourself, put your money away, take advantage of the maximum programs that your employer might have to offer, and find some type of high yield vehicle for your money and let it ride. Don't touch it, so that when you get to be a septuagenarian, you'll have money to do things like buy a house on the lake if you want one.
Okay, hold on,
and remodel it.
Hold on to that thought. So this is what we're going to do. For those of you listening on the radio, we are going to because we just have an hour with you. So we are going to stop the conversation here. But for those of you who are on the YouTube side, you're going to hear the extended version. So if you're listening to us on the radio, thank you for joining. Now come over to the YouTube side to hear the rest of the conversation. See you at Rethinking Freedom. So what were you saying about what you need to do with the finances? And you can slow down because we got time on the YouTube side.
Okay. I just was very fortunate, to think about the things that W. Clement Stone talked about, you know, budgeting and saving your money and paying yourself first. For example, let's say you bought a car, you bought a home, and you were paying the mortgage or you were paying your car note, and it's almost time for your things to be paid off. But he said that as soon as you buy that car, back at that time, it's like, hey, put $40 a week away because you know that car is going to break down. You know that house is going to need the furnace tuned up or whatever it is. So save the money now so that when you need to provide maintenance for those assets that you have the money, and it's not a big deal. And if you take advantage of those you save the money, you're not touching it, like if you put it in some no mutual funds or a high yield CD account or whatever vehicle that works best for you in your situation. I'm not a financial advisor. These are just things that work for me. Then you'll have the money to take advantage of opportunities when you're ready. Yeah. And the thing that I wanted to talk about was I am semi-retired and I had a dream. The thing that was just like so impossible that I thought I would never get to do it. I dreamed that I would be able to live on the lake and watch the celestial things move across the heavens. And 35 years ago, I was thinking, oh my God, that would never happen. How am I going to afford to live on the lake? Well, as it happens, I put that out there in the universe and I said it was something that I wanted to do. One of my other skills is as a ghostwriter. And I was helping a gentleman write his book. And he lived in an apartment.
Wait a second, you're a ghostwriter too?
I'm also a ghostwriter. A girl got to get her hustle on. I had children. I had mouths. Wow. So, and I do help people get the knowledge out of their head and get it onto another medium. It's a gift. It's a gift that I have. So when I would go there and I would go into his office and work, but I really didn't go through his place. So his wife said to me one day, "Oh, you really need to come out and look at my place." I walked into her living room and I said, "Wow, look at this view." Now this was over 10 years ago, and it was just gorgeous. And I said to her, "Ma'am, I'm not going to use their names here, ma'am, if ever you decide to sell this place, please give me first right of refusal." Now, 10, 15 years ago, I was not in a position to make that purchase. I don't know, but I said it. So last year, a little over a year ago, the gentleman passed away. And the wife wanted to move to down south to be with her family, and she no longer wanted the place. And she remembered me and called and asked if I would be interested if I wanted to buy the place. And I was like, "Why, yes, I would." Now she was going to move to a senior community. I am serious. Woo. I'm telling you, this is a testimony right here. It really is, because it was my vision. It was what I wanted. And I put it out there and let the universe just be working on it.
Put it out there and weren't even thinking about it. You had just,
yeah.
Wow.
But I knew, years ago that was something that I wanted. And I always talked about it. And it's like, yeah, eventually I'm going to leave the house to someone, a family who wants these parks and good schools and all that. And I'm going to go live on the lake is what I would say. And this opportunity came, and it was a very, very private sale, a very good deal. It was something that I just couldn't refuse. And because it was going to be over a year before she moved, it gave me a chance to get my little ducks in a row and make them all quack, my money, my financing, and everything as I needed it to be, because I had been saving my money and stuff. Just like so. So when I got ready to do something that I wanted to do, I was able to make an investment in that type. So now my vision here was, I have the places, it's purchased, but I wanted to make it my own. It's a beautiful apartment, uh, corner unit with a fantastic view, but I am remodeling it to meet my aesthetics. And we're down now to days, counting the days for when it will be ready for me to move in. And the floor should be complete this week. And then we'll get those kitchen cabinets in there, and the master bath
This
shower.
is
I mean,
so
I'm
exciting.
very happy. It is. It's
Okay,
very
so
exciting.
with all of this going on, with this life you've lived, that you could just keep showing more layers, the AI, the ghostwriting, the communications, the going back to work on your masters, the way you kept manifesting the things that you wanted. First marriage didn't work out. I'm going to manifest the love of my life. You had a long, wonderful marriage with him. You're dating again. You've gone through the over now because my husband has transitioned. You have the lived experiences of women before you who lived well into their hundreds. Because I've seen women who got widowed in their 50s and 60s who just shut down and stopped living, so to speak. What advice? I'm gonna turn this around some kind of way. What advice would you give to your 25-year-old self? What advice would you give to other septuagenarians who are sitting in a rocking chair, maybe letting what I'm seeing, letting their children take over their lives, in the sense of they've raised their children and now they can't live their lives because they are picking up for all the mistakes their children are making, and their children are still being able to just do whatever they want. So maybe the children are living with them. Maybe they're also taking care of the grandkids. Maybe they're having to supplement the children. You know, my knees hurt, my this, that. So even after they've sacrificed to raise their kids, they're still not enjoying these latter years. So what advice would you give your 25-year-old self? What advice would you give our more mature women? What really struck me and what has what just draws me to you is that you truly live at this frequency. It doesn't mean that life doesn't life you as well. It doesn't mean that you don't have challenges, but your outlook on life, the way you reframe things, it's just it makes me, since I met you, I mean, I've always had a can-do attitude, but I tell you, I got a whole different pep in my step now. Like, you really can. Anyone who thought I was insufferable before, since I met Miss Jacqueline, I really think I'm all of that now. Don't come around now. I really think.
You know, I would advise people to be around other vibrant, happy people, because you know the old saying that you are like your five closest friends. So Clement Stone will tell people to control your environment. So if you're around if everybody in your group is complaining about their arthritis and they can't do this and whoa it's me and life, look around in a minute, that's gonna rub off on you. So Loving from a distance, have a loving fence
Mm,
there. Ooh, I love you, girl. I can touch on you every now and then, but you can't let that stuff bounce back on you. Find something that you like to do, that passion we've talked about, and find the people who are in that arena doing those things that you like to do, and regularly, actively be active in that circle of people who are doing something. If you sit there, look around, and think about, you'll be dead in no time. Because your body's like, why am I on the planet? I'm not doing anything here. I'm not contributing. I'm not vibrant. I'm not vital. Do that.
yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that I would say. And remember, no is a complete sentence.
Mm,
If you have, and I know you feel, I have children, grown kids, I understand. They pull on you, they continue to ask for stuff and everything. And this is what my mother said to me. She said, I would have some issue, or any of us would have some issue. She would say, hmm, what would you do if I wasn't here? And she would just, you know, give us that thought experiment. What would you do if I wasn't here? And then we think about it, and we would say, oh, I would do X, Y, and Z with fun. And then she'd say, well, do that. So that was great advice for me, and great advice for your children. What would they do if you weren't there? Whatever it is, then they should do that. Ask them to think about it. Let involve them in the process. And it's okay to take things for yourself. Yes, they're going to be distraught. You're changing the status quo of things, so they're going to try to make you feel guilty and try to pull you back into the old way of doing things. It's okay. It's okay to do for yourself. It's okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to ask them, well, why don't you help me? It's all of that is okay. But definitely take care of yourself. Remember to stay connected with other people that you'd like to be around. If your knees are hurting, and it's really hard for you, go to chair yoga. Go to some place where you until you can build up the stamina where you can stand up and do those things. Practice the self-love. Saying no to your kids and living your life, you've already, that's perfect, because it isn't, it is not promised. Especially,
it
God only
isn't.
promised us 70 years. Now we all here
Mm,
septuagenarians. We're living in the bonus years now, because all over 70 is a bonus. Enjoy your bonus years. Do all the stuff you want to do while you are able. My mom would say, "All you wearing those high heels now, but the time is gonna come when you're not gonna want to wear those high heels. Better enjoy them." And she was absolutely right. Although I could wear high heels now, that is you can count the number of times in a year that I put high heels on, honey. I'm trying to be comfortable in my wide shoe. I'm like, y'all young people, handle it, enjoy it, look good, do your thing. I have a nice, comfortable 2-inch heel and happy with it. So do do take. Sometimes we have to detox our bodies. Sometimes we have to detox our environments. We have to detox the people around us,
mm,
so that we can heal. We can take care of ourselves. Because guess what, honey, you drop over, they're gonna do exactly what they would do if you weren't here, and enjoy themselves. So
yes.
enjoy yourself. That's what I
Yes.
wanted to say.
Yeah.
I had an
Yeah. Yeah.
exercise about well, first I have to say this. My maternal grandmother, Maggie Scott, when she was having her 100th birthday, she had a party and invited her girls. They all 100 years old too. So anyway, I asked her, grandmother, what's that like? What advice would you say to someone who is, crossing over into being 100? She said, you have to learn to let it go. So whatever it is for you that you need to let it go, so you can move to the next phase of life. And she, outlived, she had 6 children. She outlived them all. She outlived her husband. She outlived her parents. She outlived all her siblings. She had to learn to let those things go. And I'm sure some things were harder to let go than other things were to let go. But in order for her to continue to thrive, she had to let it go. So sometimes you gotta let those kids go. Sometimes you gotta get those negative friends, let them go. Just just let them go. Let them go, let
Let
them
it
go, let them
go.
go, let them
Yeah.
go. You do that. So
Yeah.
whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
And then I thought about the exercise. I went once I had to go through an exercise where I had to think about what I wanted on my tombstone.
Mm,
Because you got the
yes.
tombstone, you got the day
Yes.
she was born,
Yes.
and you got the day that you left here.
Yeah.
So what's happening with you on that dash?
Yes.
So I said, oh my goodness, what do I want on my
Mm,
tombstone? And my answer was enjoyed it! Exclamation point. When I leave here, they're gonna say, ooh, she sure enjoyed it. So your tombstone, think about that. Give yourself that. And then
yeah. Yeah.
live your life in such a way that those words are real. So,
Hmm.
so since I want on my tombstone that I enjoyed it, I have to live my life that I enjoyed it. And so whoever gets to write that tombstone can say, yes, yeah, that's right. She enjoyed that. So
That's
that,
that's that's a great exercise. I sometimes in my coaching practice represent for you, or I would say imagine your funeral, your homegoing service, and they're eulogizing you. Who is there and what are they saying about you?
mm-hmm,
So is it just going to be like your coworkers because those are the only people you poured into? Will there be any loved ones? Will the community even recognize that you passed? Like who is there? And what to be like, will your children send flowers and be like, but sorry, we couldn't make
yeah,
it? Um,
mm-hmm,
just questions to ask because all of these things are, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, it's going to be determined by the choices you there.
mm-hmm,
Or the rocking chair test. It's coming to the end of life, and you're just there rocking in your chair. That's when we start to reminisce. And what are the things
mm-hmm,
that you're thinking about? The things that bring a smile to your face, the things that bring a tear to your eye. What is it? And are you spending your time and your money now on the things that are going to matter later to you? Because now is the time to make that
that
difference.
is true.
Um, yeah.
I do
And,
want
and
to.
I always tell people in terms of living a vibrant life, this is a lesson that I've learned from both my parents. My mother went back to get a PhD in her 40s after having 7 children. We were actually in college together. I was a freshman at the university and she was working on her PhD. It was so funny because we'll meet each other at the library. She's in her jeans with her backpack, and so am I. But this concept of garbage in, garbage out, always keeping your mind
Mhm,
vibrant, that you need to be reading, you need to be learning. And so in our society, again, where we tend, at least the Western society, where we tend to be very sedentary, you're watching things on the TV or on your devices that are curated by other people who, quite frankly, want to just keep you dumb and controlled. We really need to be more discerning about what
mhm.
we're taking in, because that's Jacqueline, because I don't want to keep you forever, but I love
Yes.
your company and I love everything I'm learning from you.
Oh, God,
And
thank
I
you
love
so
your
much for having me
discipline. I
here.
love your discipline.
That last little bit cut out there, I couldn't hear there. That what I would like to say finally
No,
is just that.
I was
Oh,
I
mhm.
was I was saying I love your discipline. Everything that you've done, you
Oh,
haven't said the D word, so to speak, but it's clear you're very disciplined.
thank you for observing that. You have to. I have to do that to get it done because a lot of stuff I really don't want to do all the tasks and the thing. But if you want the end result, you gotta do the tedious part, not just the glorious part too. So there's some tedious parts in there too that have to get done.
Yeah.
So what I would like to leave everyone with is that just as there are no two snowflakes alike, No two journeys follow the same path. And I encourage you to embrace your own vibrant blueprint for life. Make it special for you.
Mm, mm. That is so powerful. For all of our listeners, all of our viewers, I know this is one that you all will come back to and listen to again, because I know I'm going to come back. I was trying to take notes as she was talking, but I need to come back, because here's the thing. This is not like church. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you go to church, you come out and people say, hey, what did the pastor talk about? And you say, oh my God, it was so good. I mean, it just hit the spirit. The spirit was just there. And you're like, but what did he talk about? It's like, oh, it was so good. You had to have been there. And what you're really saying is, yeah, I had an emotional boost, but I didn't retain anything. And if you didn't retain anything, that means you can't apply anything. And if you can't apply anything, that means you're not going to see any results. And we are not just having an exercise and just talking for the sake of talking. Bring the young people around you, bring some of the old people around you. Turn this on, go to the YouTube channel at Rethinking Freedom. Of course, if you're still listening to this, you either are on our podcast, you've downloaded it, or you're on our YouTube channel. Start from the beginning with a notebook or whatever device people use now to take notes, and actually take notes on the 2 or 3 things that you say, I'm going to do this. Maybe it's changing your diet. Maybe it's changing your environment. Maybe it's changing who you're hanging around with. Maybe it's learning how to reframe how you look at things. Maybe it's learning how to say no. Choose something from what paying yourself first. She gave so much good information she gave us a blueprint. She gave us a blueprint. And listen, there are people who talk, she's talking. This is not right. She's lived what she's talking. She's living what she's talking. So she knows what she's talking about. She's giving you the blueprint. Take the time. You deserve to take the time to say, someone is giving me the blueprint to build the life I want, the life I desire. I don't have to go figure it all out myself. I just need to take these plans that she's already figured out and drawn up, which she figured out from what other people gave her, her grandparents, her parents, her teachers, Clement Stone, all these people in her life. Now she's giving it to you. Your job is now to implement it in your life like she did in her life. And if you say no, I have nothing to say to you. But here we are about rethinking freedom, and we certainly hope that you are too. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like, please share, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the word with as many people as possible. Leave a comment because it helps with our algorithm, and leave a comment for our guests. Let Miss Jacqueline know what you think, because I know she's going to come back and look at it, maybe drop some more tips as well. And check the description, because you can follow her and follow her amazing life. Because one thing I know for sure, as long as there's breath in her body, she is not done. Not by a long shot.
No, I am not done at all. I'm out here just doing my own thing, delighting in myself and choosing happiness.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you for doing the extended version with us. I can't wait to have you back if you will come back, because I know there's going to be so much more coming down the line here. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.